I'm just going to make this brief, and I'm going to make a video after this that I talk about this book, the first 100 pages. Very key. He presents a lot of facts. It's reviewed by fairly respectable people, Dr. Thomas R. Horn, CEO of Skywatch TV. It's definitely an interesting book. I don't agree with everything that's said. The cover kind of gives away the perspective, okay? But I do think there is important truths that are presented in a somewhat misleading way. But I do agree with the second coming of Hercules, Leviathan, the prophesied war between Jesus Christ and the gods of iniquity. But I believe that it is more like a public resurgence in a way that nobody can deny, that includes pretty much every culture in America. And I don't think that Jesus is going to come back in some kind of a definitive way. In fact, I'm sure of it. Really. What we see here is, let's take the story of Crete. Okay, Crete. We have the birthplace of Zeus, which is Crete, which is very damning right there. Zeus, Jupiter, the Capitoline Triad, and so on. Very damning right there. That by itself, Crete is the birthplace of Zeus. It's an island. It definitively connects Greek thought to the trade routes, and this book talks about the Hurrians, the Hittites, the Sumerians, the Canaanites, the Mesopotamians in general. Does a very good job of connecting them, these deities, to the Greeks, and I'm satisfied that the Titans are based on these sort of Middle Eastern deities. I'm also satisfied that the opposition view does include the LGBT community. King Minos is said to be the founder of homosexuality. You have Circe, right, connects it to the church, okay, and her experience on Crete. We have her sister Pasiphae, the wife of King Minos. We have the labyrinth in Daedalus. Remember, for Zeus to trick Saturn, Kronos, into releasing his siblings, his 5 other siblings, who also are all evil deities, he has to use pharmakeia. So this connects pharmacology, right, the pharmaceutical industry, to the LGBT movement, to the occult in general with Zeus, not just Minos and so on, to the Christian church. And when we really do our research, I think this part is very key. I think you should pay very close attention. Look at the different forms of Set. We have the jackal, which is the most pronounced form in imagery, and you cannot miss the wordplay there, jack-all. We have the hippo, okay, a kind of weak, probably the weakest form when you think about it. It's slow and it's easy to outmaneuver and strike. Okay, there's no real trickery there. Hippo can't really trick you that much, other than kind of confuse you about when it comes out of the water. So then we have the black boar. We have the snake, very significant, definitively connects them to Apep. So when we look at the black boar perspective, this is key. When we consider the UFC, we consider law enforcement, the military, these kind of big guys, they wear gear, which makes it harder for somebody to strike through, and they wrestle a lot, right? This is part of their tactics, to wrestle, to overpower you with muscle, with physical force. The wild boar, the black pig, to cover up the truth as a cop, the kind of derogatory term for cops. I don't mean to offend, but just to point out the facts. Okay, it is, when I was younger, my dad said, hey, you need a high-powered pistol to pierce the armor of a boar. Most, 9mm won't cut it. 45 is kind of a hard call, is what he told me. You need like a 357 or something like that. I don't know how true it is, but certainly the boar has sort of heavy armor, right? Body armor, bulletproof vest, puncture-proof vest, the metal of the Roman troops. And this goes back to Set replacing Abel, Cain as Cain, Set replacing Abel. The Bible is by the bull. It is the story of why he wants his son, Mason, my son, to be in charge without giving you the truth. He doesn't walk in the light, but in the Bible, it basically says you should declare the glory of the God from the rooftops. You should tell the truth. So it's Set historically, and in how he does in Egyptian mythology, testifying against himself. Christians don't walk in the light. Catholics wear black. The Protestants, don't stand with me. They don't bring these truths out to the light. They're kind of racist, and they're varying degrees of racism and self-indulgent kind of support the state, right? The right-wing conservative Christians sort of support the state attitude, where you have the kind of the followers of Ishtar on the left. So to put it simply, after 21 years of martial art experience, 4,000 videos, over 10,000 valid sources, considering different views and the facts that their views are based on, especially, and the motivations of their views, it is clear to me that this martial art argument is that the key of this martial to lead solicitously also can mean to order ceremoniously, and it can also mean to order in truth. The marshes and how they pertain to the Mesopotamian area, how they pertain to Lower Egypt. Okay, it's very clear to me that basically you had the guys who support these deities, regardless of where these deities start, sort of migrate and reinforce the Apis, the bull of Heliopolis perspective. Okay, which Set is favored by him. It's kind of worldly deities favoring it. Then you have Nekhen, right, where the sub-Saharan Africans come to the Nekhenite, the patron of Nekhen, the hawk, Haru, the elder Harwer perspective. He goes north, whereas their perspectives come this way. It kind of makes that little L kind of shape of masonry, except for it's shaping. It's actually pointing up instead of pointing down is one way to look at it, right? The angles met here versus meeting the Lord where he wants you to meet him, which is in the sky, is another way to look at it. So basically, all these other martial arts perspectives are worldly. That leads me to the jackal, and I'll end it there. The jackal pretty much has teamed up with Ishtar to kind of have this gay, friendly face. Examine what a jackal actually looks like. It's kind of like a variation of a fox. And this is where the left sort of meets the martial artists, the Eastern martial artists. Okay, you look at Fox Sports, right? Biking. You'll see a lot of martial artists who are into biking and kind of lukewarm, worldly energy. The Ki Gong, right? Not the Ka, the Ki with the E versus the Ra with the A. A Ra, Horus with the fence, right? The H is the fence, you remove it. A Ra, right? Instead of Haru, Haru, right? Oh, this is how we're explaining Haru. These are martial arts and serious fertility, and these are followers in their most serious forms are warriors. It was the warriors following Baal. It was the warriors that the Amorites are said to refer to. Hammurabi said to be an Amorite, connecting Sumer and Babylon to the Amorites. Okay, kind of Haru, kind of Babylon, kind of baby, kind of do versus Ara. Okay, authoritative utterance versus kind of do. Now, obviously, you can see the difference, You can be, "Ara! I'm in charge! I'm in charge!" Right? Versus, "Ara!" That sound of you are deeply offending the truth. Now, obviously, they can use technology to mimic this. They can use technology to change form and so on and so forth. Kind of Isis, magician, kind of, I set is set, kind of selling out the whore that wrote the beast sort of perspective. So I don't want you to miss this. Again, I'm going to go over this real quick. I don't want to make this video that long. Basically, they are teaming up on me, trying to get me to do it their way. You look at the wordplay around rebuttal, right? Rob you tell, right? Light to bore, right? Rebuttal, right? Backwards, light to bore. Another wordplay associated makes it clear that they know Rabbah is tall. They want to rob me until late Obi or something. Rebuttal. Right? Late Obi or. So late Pharaoh, right? Late king. Wait until all these guys who are trying to cheat you catch up in the eyes of people, or we're going to keep robbing you until you give the light to bore. Light to bore. It's right there in the word rebuttal, the wordplay. Of course, I've gone over the language thing. I beat that to death. If the idea is correct, it's correct. It's correct. Okay? The law enforcement is turning a blind eye to this because they want me to choose they want me to bow down to, perhaps more specifically, in choosing the idea of the guys who are worshipped as, these kind of big, strong guys who put on armor and wrestle, take a few hits and wrestle someone to the ground, versus the true direction of Haru as the archetype of Pharaoh. So they want to choose kind of the Khan Hor from their perspective. They want the Khan Hor to be a boar set. And the guys on the left kind of want the Khan Hor to be the jackal, kind of pretty boy, kind of presentation, kind of demonstration set. And I'll go over more of this in the next video.